Hey, what's up, everybody? I wish I had better things to share with you. Living Real with Larissa coming at you. I should say I do have better things because on Monday, rocked my world a little bit. I had a good weekend. I had worked. Last thing I showed you, I had been working on the French drain out back, and then I did my garage storage. I just felt like, okay, things are kind of starting to just form and come together. And then if you are part of my newsletter family, I share different things in there sometimes. So if you aren't signed up already, make sure you take a minute. I was preparing lunch for my kids Monday, and we homeschool and different things, but I was opening a can, and my olive oil decanter is too tall to fit under my cupboards. And so it sits near the stove, and I've already broken one because when I didn't pay attention, I tried to move it out of the way, and the top of the decanter, the thing that you pour your oil out with for cooking, clipped the bottom of the cupboard and fell over and broke, and it dumped everywhere. And this time I was opening a can, and I just slid a lid that was on the counter over, and it just knocked the oil decanter, another one, I had another one, knocked it over, and I saw it going. I knew it was going to come because I've already done it before. I doggone reached and grabbed for that thing, and it broke right there and took out the chunk of my thumb. Today is Sunday. This was Monday. I have been wearing this, dealing with this pain, but also something else happened, and I just want to discuss that with you a little bit. Kind of focusing on allowing yourself space and allowing others space, and what I mean by that. When that happened, I'm not going to go into gore detail, much as I did in my newsletter, but it took out the bottom half of my thumb, and very, very deep. And when I did it, I pressed on it instantly, and I was not, I was in shock. I was talking to my kids, hey, I need this, and this to help. But then when the shock wore off, I started to shake. And if you know that I'm a cptsd person dealing with that, when something like a trauma happens, emotionally or physically, I start to shake. You lose your frame of mind, and then my body goes into different reactions. Obviously, this is still painful, and I will show you here in a minute something, but let me get back. This is still painful, but when I normally am dealing with high levels of stress, sometimes I'll get like cold sores and stuff up in my nose, even on my mouth or in my face. Different reactions happen. Well, this time I got an ear infection. Now, I had been dealing with another issue that had my immune system just being challenged a bit, and I think that infection spread, through the sinus. And holy cow, I didn't realize it was an ear infection at first, and I've not really had them myself since I was a child, but I thought I have dealt with TMJ. I've told you before, I grind my teeth, which has caused me different issues all around. I wear a guard, and so I had been wearing my guard and thought maybe that I was grinding, so I was feeling that pain. But when adults get an ear infection, it's not quite like kids. It's usually a different area. So anyway, when ear infections come in my house, we use garlic oil. So that means I take some olive oil and I chop a clove of garlic and I warm it slightly. It works like a charm. But I didn't realize that I had an ear infection at first, so it got really, really bad. And I want you to remember too that I am here to earn my living as well. You guys who can take a day off and get paid or so on, I don't get that benefit. If I don't work, I don't eat. And that's fine. I choose this. So I can't call in a sub. I can't call in sick days. And one of the things that's harder too is a lot of things rely on me. So when I'm down, it's a big down. And also in learning about myself, healing from trauma, from narcissistic parental abuse, and also a neurodivergent situation within my family, which is similar to narcissistic abuse. I was trained, I call it NARC training, to apologize for everything. And I want to frame this up for you. I injured myself, and I'm like, I want to apologize to my kids that I knew they were going to have to pick it up. Why would I have to apologize? Think about that for a minute. You are allowed to exist. You are allowed for injury. You are allowed for joy. To think that I felt that, but the bonus is I recognized it, right? I told you I'm getting better. I don't say I'm sorry all the time or feel like that I need to do certain things. It still comes up here though. I catch it, but the difference is I now know it's not my fault that I injured myself. It's an accident, right? So that's showing healing and to allow myself space to process this. So I haven't really done much work this week because I can't. How do you edit or type or write? The last blog post was written basically with one hand because I was in so much pain. And when you take off a chunk of skin, you can't go get stitches at the ER. You just, it's healing from the back out, and it's showing a wonderful progression. I'm hoping I can actually take a shower next week without a bag over my hand. Anyway, so how do I work? I was outside if it was nice weather. I was inside trying to finish if it was crummy weather. Well, we've had a mix of both lately. We've had snow again here late in April and also 80-degree days. So I just don't know. And I was jumping back and forth trying to make use of the time. But because of not only this and the ear infection, I was pretty much laid out, not to where I so bad that I couldn't do anything, but frustrated enough that I couldn't do anything. If that makes sense. But one of the things I decided to do, which I will show you here, is thanks to my kids, I tried to keep going a little bit while I could, and then the weather cut me off. All right, let's take a peek. And we're back outside. Lots been going on. I am currently on some pain meds because I have an ear infection, which I think was related to another infection that I deal with off and on with my stress levels. Sometimes I can get nose infections, cold sores, whatever, but I treat it with garlic oil and it's going away. Just that pain is different, but I also just took off my splint. I know this doesn't look like much, but if I take this off, there is like a gouge right there missing from when I sliced my finger open. If you have my newsletter, you know what's going on. It was very deep, and this has been 5 days. Still pretty painful. Not going to be doing much with my hand, but trying to get this done up here. If you look behind me, we've got a dead tree. This one here. And it's like 3 trunks in one. I'm not sure. I could take down the leaning branch, chainsaw and all. Not doing that right today until my hand heals in my ear. Also, just going to be taking out these horseshoe pits and some other just cleanup. Oh, let's have at it. Oh no. I was right. So we've dug out those pins for the horseshoe, and we'll be filling that with that Mount Digmore out front that I've talked so much about. Honestly, really, I'm not going to focus too much up here. I've still got some more brush to clean up. Went back to the splint because that was just a little too much with a band-aid. But we'll be knocking a bit of this down. I really want to focus more on the terrace and what we have going on there, because that's more pertinent to me this year. Sorry for the wind. If it gets to where we can, I'm showing you the other hole here. These Bradford pear trees are very, very, very invasive and very owie to take down. They've got thorns. I've got miscellaneous wild roses and things that need taken out. But remember, this is not mine. But if you can see, other people have cleared and they've allowed you to use it as long as you don't develop it with something that's in ground. So that's why I was kind of being respectful and taking out the horseshoe, so that we could just set some chairs up here or something, just enjoy the view. They just took that tree down out there. Get a lot of deer, fox, groundhog, all kinds of critters, a lot of owls at night, and just want to enjoy the space. But when I get back to focusing on the terrace, we'll be cleaning that out and taking that tree out. So you see where I'm at. I kind of have been working on removing stumps. I've been removing plants up on that terrace, and then I really want to focus is on the slant of the terrace and building that up so that I have that to go. I had hoped for so many things. I'm always maybe optimist in a sense, realist very much, but wanted to get the exterior of the house done before winter. That's not going to happen. It's already hitting me. I don't have enough time. I'm going to do what I can do. But I've had sconces I've been waiting to install. I was going to do that this week. I have a tree that needs cut down. I was hoping to maybe get that done this week. And I'm just going to take it. I'm living real, right? Trying to show what I can do, when I can do it. And I still have to worry about, we had 5 tennis matches this week. We have 5 this week. One of which we drove to yesterday for about an hour away, and they kept delaying it, and we finally get there, drove, and then I walk up there, they canceled it. Drive back home. There went my whole day. So lots going on, and I'm thankful that I'm able, but frustrated, because I want to be able to do, and that's how I earn my living. And so sitting here just saying that if you're feeling like you don't earn the right to just be, that's not true. You are allowed to allow yourself to take up space. And what I mean by, let's say you're a friend to somebody who is going through a situation. You don't have to fix it for them. You don't have to do those things. You can just allow them to be, to take up space, to process, to maybe take some load off for them, in the sense of just the menial things that need done, or not make them feel like they have to do anything for you in return. That's a big one. I think I've mentioned this before in previous times, that only the last couple years I like to lay out in the sun. And what I'm talking about is not working on a tan. It just feels so good. You have to understand, if you're in Ohio and it's gray like the entire winter, you want to go out and lay in the sun and just soak it all in. And I used to feel guilty about that when my kids were younger. Well, recent years I've allowed myself 15 minutes, just go out, lay in the sun. And I did that this week with this injury. Felt guilty that I didn't work enough to allow myself that time. And that's something that I'm going to be dealing with the rest of my life. I try to just say it's okay. But it's bred into me of sorts that I was taught from my parent, and so on, that you have to earn that. So, and that's me. That's also allowing me space to be me. I can't help some of these things that I was taught. I can tell myself all I want till I'm blue in the face that it's okay, but my body's still going to react the same way, and I'm still going to have triggers, and I'm still going to have moments where it just smacks me in the face. I break into tears because I can't believe that is my life. And I'm allowing myself that space to just process and work through. Very frustrated because, again, I was trained to think that I had to be doing and taking care of others and worrying about other people's feelings, and I have to keep taking my load every day and, dumping it off or handing it up to God and saying, I know this isn't my load to carry, and I'm getting better. I don't think I will be eternally healed of that. I think it's going to be an ongoing process for me learning how to just do, but little by little, I can recognize it. I kind of explained it to my kids that it used to be when somebody interacting with me, I gave them this much space before I realize. Now my thing is shorter. I'm always like, okay, red flag, no biffing around, and I'm getting better at that, and not just to be rude, but to know where I stand and know what I want for me and what I'm going to allow to happen to me, allowing space. I'm hoping this encourages you, and I wanted to still touch base and share with you because there's things changing for me, and I'm excited what it's going to be bringing to the table, if you will. I will be getting back hopefully to work this week. I can switch to a standard bandage because it's still oozy and owie a little bit because the deepest gouge happened right on my bend on the seam there, crease, and I want to be able to do things without risking infection and trying not to be stupid. I don't think I'm being stupid. I've had enough injuries, but I've also noticed I keep getting these injuries when I'm like happy. I don't know if there's something tied into that. A friend of mine, Marie, you know who you are, said to me, do you think there's anything related to the fact that you keep getting these injuries when you're feeling good? And I was like, I don't know, maybe self-induced or something. I have no idea. But how do you do that with the oil bottle just falling over? I don't know. But feel free to ask me questions. I really hope to show you and bring you more, whereas I'd be working outside as I can, indoor when I can. I have so much on the map, but hang tight. Sign up for that newsletter so you're in the know and follow along. Until next time.